we're tying a guitar minnow. First thing you want to do is put your thread on a hook. I like Unithread 6/0. Going to cover that portion of the shank with thread. We're going to measure from the back of the eye where you're going to tie this eye in. You want these eyes on this fly to be very close to the hook eye. It's not like a regular clouser where you would put it a third of the shank back. You want it very close. You can see where I've measured that right to where the teardrop of the eye ends. That's where I'm going to tie it in. Just do the regular clouser style, tie in. The pressure tying it this way is going to straighten it out. I'm going to go underneath. Then what I like to do is build up in back of the eye. Oop, in front, that's alright. I get that built up, I'm going to bring it in front, and then just whip that off. And then we're going to paint this eye with white lacquer. Okay, we've painted the eye and put an eyeball on there, and the way we like to do that is I'll use white lacquer to paint the lead eye. Then after that dries for 24 hours, I'll take a finish nail, use the finish nail, just touch it to the lacquer and then touch it to the eye. Makes a perfect round eyeball, as you can see. Looks really good. I brought the thread back to the back of the hook shank, and if you notice, I'm just into the bend. Alright, this isn't like a normal fly where you're going to stop before the hook starts to bend. We want to go just a little bit into that bend. What that does is it kicks the feather of the tail up, makes the fly work right. If you don't do that, this fly is not going to swim right. When I get to the back there, I'm going to just take and build that up just a little bit more. I don't know why I do this, I just like it. I'm going to take the feather. I've already stripped some of the fibers off of that. I'm going to set it in. I like to tie on the side of the shank. Take a few wraps forward, one back. I'm going to pull that feather underneath the wraps a little bit, then cinch it down. Take a look at that. That looks pretty good. Grab the other side. Do the same thing. A few wraps forward, a couple wraps back, and I'll pull the fibers underneath. Check the tips, make sure they match. That's pretty darn close. We're going to live with it. Then we're going to hold the feathers in place, and we're going to wrap the stems forward to just behind the eye. We're going to clip those off. Those should come right up behind the eye like that. Wrap back. Square those away a little bit. That's good. Now look at my feathers and see how they lay. Alright, that's pretty good. I'm going to grab onto them, put some tension there, then wrap back a little bit more. See how that kind of pulled that together? That's good. We like that. Now that we have that tied in, we're going to add our flash. I like firefly tie. We're going to use 3 strands. Get a grip on those. Pull those over. Put them along the flank of that feather. I'm going to wrap and let the thread pull that around to the other side. Once it's there, we'll grab those strands. We're going to pull them back and tie them back on the other side. Now we tie in Bill's body braid and pearl. That down, bring your thread forward, I build up just a little bit behind the eye, bring your thread in front of the eye, a few wraps, wrap that body braid forward. Really important that you get those feathers into that bend a little bit. That there, we'll spin that around. That's good. Okay, tie that down. Now, a lot of times I'll tie these, I like using calf tail for the belly. It's really hard to get good calf tail that's long enough because you really want it to come to about there on the fly. Okay, that adds a nice belly, a nice transition from the belly into the tail feathers. Calf tail is really nice because it's crinkly. If you look at this, you might even think it's calf tail. This is super soft deer tail. And you look far and wide to find a tail that's this good. And a lot of people overlook the really short deer tails. I look at all of them because you might find some that are super soft. This is crinkly. You look at that, it's got a lot of motion to it. This thing's great. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to line it up with where the feather starts getting fat. Okay? I'm going to lay that on right here. Look at it. That looks pretty good. Tie that down. Not too many wraps. Now this is a part that's really crucial to make the belly shape. I'm going to grab this hair and pull it back. Bring the thread behind. I'm going to do 1, 2 wraps. It's fairly tight, right? I'm going to grab a hold of this belly hair. I'm going to lighten up my wraps. See how I'm taking the tension off of it? Then I'm going to slide that down. See how I'm pushing the hair down along the sides of the hook? Then I'm going to retighten. Take a couple more wraps and then look at it. That's pretty good. What that does is it forms a belly around the fly there. That looks pretty good. A little bit crazy, but that's not too bad. Cut this off as close as we can. That looks alright. Some rogue hairs there. Get rid of those. Get rid of that one. That one. That's good enough. Next thing I'm going to do is the gills. Very important part of this pattern, I believe. What I did is I took some rabbit fur and wet my fingers and rolled it. And do it again. Roll that in like that, and that makes that nice and thin. I'll do the closest side first. Tie that in front. Kind of squish it over to the side a little bit. Bring my thread back. 1, 2 wraps behind. And you can see that kind of made that gill on that side, and then we're going to do the other side. Give that another roll. Measure it. Tighten that. I'm pulling really hard on this rabbit hide. Pull that on the other side. Now the bottom of the fly is done. We want to turn the fly over.